My name is Jamin Goecker. I'm an associate real estate broker in the state of Alaska. My mission is always to help you to build an intentional and significant legacy for yourself and your family by coaching you in real estate. And today I'm going to be really breaking down for you what's happening in the real estate market in Eagle River, Alaska. And we're going to be looking at the single family homes, the condos, and the multifamily market to try to give you a good idea as to what's happening in the small but mighty market of Eagle River. Before we get started though, do make sure you like this video, subscribe to all that good stuff. We're getting really close to about 10,000 subscribers, and I'd really like to hit that before the end of the year. So if you haven't done so already, please go ahead and do that, and that would help out a ton. Now, let's go ahead and take a look into the market update for Eagle River. Now, the first thing we're going to look at here is what's going on in the single family market and what's going on specifically in the amount of inventory we have available. So looking at the available inventory, this time last year we had 49 homes available on the market. This year it's 61. So that's a slight increase from the year before. Prior to the pandemic, we see that normally we'd see about 160 to about 200 homes available on the market. So we're still nowhere near to where we were this time prior to COVID, but you know, at this point, I'll take any step in the right direction that we can get. Now, the next thing we see is the number of properties that are single family homes that have actually sold went from 45 this time last year to 55 this year. So we're seeing a slight increase in the inventory, slight increase for the number of properties that are actually selling, and you know that's a good indicator. Now the next thing we're seeing is that the average sold price went from year to date about $496,000 to about $506,000, which means that we're seeing just about a 2% increase for the average sold price year to date for the properties here in Eagle River. Now I suspect we're going to see that increase a little bit as we go forward. What happens after that is anyone's guess, but anecdotally, I think we're probably going to continue to see these prices going up, but we'll talk more about that in the summary. Let's go and switch gears real quick and see what's going on in the condo market. Now, the condos are not a very big part of the overall makeup for the real estate market here in Eagle River, but it is there. I think it's going to become much bigger presence as we move forward, so we're going to discuss it. We see that this time last year there were 5 condos available on the market. Now we see there are 7. Now looking at the number of properties that have actually closed for condos, we see that this time last year for the month of July there were 8, and this year there are 13. So that's definitely a big uptick in the number of condos that sold for the month of July, which not a big surprise. Once you start seeing interest rates going up, condos suddenly start becoming a lot more appealing to a lot of folks. All right, now for the reason that I know most people actually tune in, and that is what's going on in the average sold price. Well, that for condos went from about $294,000 this time last year to about $334,000 this year. So that means we're seeing actually about a 13% increase for the average sold price for condos in Eagle River. Now, this is pretty dramatic, okay? Now, I don't necessarily think if you have a condo in Eagle River, the value has necessarily gone up by $40,000. I do suspect it has appreciated at a pretty healthy clip, but I think once we get this smaller of a sample size, I think really what it comes down to is how new are the condos that are being sold, because we do have new condos that are getting put in here, and those are obviously going to be priced a little bit higher because they're new. And I think that's probably more what we're seeing here. Like I said, I still think we've seen a pretty healthy appreciation for condos here in Eagle River. Don't know if it's been quite by that much. Okay, we're going to get to the multifamily part of the market in just a minute. Before we do, though, let's take a quick break. For those of you who have been watching for a little bit, and you've heard a million times that I do have a podcast for people who are considering moving up here, and the link for that is going to be in the description section down below. But also, if you really like all the drone footage that you see here on this channel, you can go ahead and go check out some of those, some more of those drone clips on my Instagram page, because that's actually my drone footage. I go out and I actually get that from the areas locally here in Alaska. So if you like that, do make sure you go check out my Instagram page just so you can get some more views and see what that looks like. Not everything makes the YouTube channel. Now, let's go and jump into the multifamily section of this market update. Now, the multifamily market in Eagle River has always been in pretty high demand just because it has a low cap rate, which means that people can move here and they can invest here, and it's not going to be a whole lot of risk. It's not going to be as much return, but it's also not going to give you much of a headache. And so for that reason, it's going to be pretty much in high demand over here. There aren't a whole lot of options, though. This time last year, there were 3 multifamily properties available on the market, and this year there are 3 as well. This time last year, there were no multifamily properties that actually closed, and this year there are no multifamily properties that actually closed, so that's pretty easy to remember. Now, looking at the multifamily property average sold price year to date, keep in mind I don't necessarily put a whole lot of weight in this just because it includes everything from the duplex all the way up to the big commercial 50 unit plus unit, 50 plus 50 unit plus plex unit. I don't know. I can't speak very well right now, guys. Sorry. But either way, what we're seeing is the average sold price year to date went from about 430 to about 664,000. And I think really what that is we probably had some larger multifamily properties that were more on the commercial size of like 50 units plus or something like that. And that probably is playing more into shaping this average sold price year to date than necessarily saying that the average sold price just doubled overnight for multifamily properties in Eagle River. Still in high demand. If you have a multifamily property in Eagle River, I have no doubt that it went up in value. I'm not sure it's necessarily doubled or overnight like that. That's a little extreme. So what does all this mean for you if you are a buyer? Well, means that properties in Eagle River do remain pretty competitive, and it's kind of definitely a small market. Once you do get your foot in the door here, though, that's actually going to go to your benefit, though, because there's not a whole lot of supply, and that does do a pretty good job in just maintaining the demand and the price for the area. If you're a seller, it does remain a pretty strong market, but we can't overplay our hand and overprice any properties. This isn't 2021 where we can just ask whatever and it's going to sell no matter what. The fundamentals really do matter again, so we're going to have to make sure that our marketing and everything else is really on point in order to get your property to sell. Now, one thing that's kind of a theory of mine moving forward, I made a whole video talking about the NAR settlement and everything that happened in relation to real estate commission being paid to buyer's agents. And I'm not sure if that's going to have a big impact on this market or not. You know, it may not. I can say anecdotally the past couple of days, it's been much slower on my new listings than it's normally been. And this might just be unique to me, but I think we might see a bit of a slowdown of the market. And if that really does put a damper on the demand for properties, we're going to start seeing a softening up of the market. Now, that's not to say that that is going to happen, but that is one theory. If the demand really starts falling off as a result of that settlement and everything that happened, I'm not going to really dive into the details of the lawsuit and all that. I made like a video where before editing, it's about 40 minutes long, so I'm kind of all tapped out talking about that. But it is something we're going to keep our eyes very fixed on as we move forward and just see if we're seeing any changes in the market that can be tracked statistically. But this has been your market update talking about Eagle River. I hope it's been useful. If it has, give this video a like, subscribe, do all that good stuff, and we'll see you next time.